All right, my friends, if you live in Maryland and you're over the age of 65, I don't see how you can do TurboTax. I just don't. And I'll explain why here. In Maryland, there's a wonderful exclusion from income tax up to over $30,000 if you have money coming from an employer-sponsored plan, which is 401k, a thrift savings plan, and whatnot, 403b. But TurboTax doesn't give you the ability to put that in. I sat here for 2 hours trying to figure this out. I've looked at every single which way I can figure out. I cannot figure out how to do this. I've looked up the help. I've looked up search. I've followed all the instructions, and nothing shows up to get the Maryland Pension Exclusion Act. So let me just show you what the Pension Exclusion Act is. This is a big deal. I mean, if you live in Maryland, and this is why I've done a couple videos on not rolling over your IRA, your 401k to an IRA in the state of Maryland, because this is nuts. Maryland pension exclusion. If you are 65 or older or totally disabled, or your spouse is totally disabled, you may qualify for Maryland's maximum pension exclusion of $30,600 under the condition described in Instruction 13 of the Maryland Residence Tax Booklet. I'll just tell you what it is here in just a second. If you're eligible, you may be able to subtract some of your taxable income and retirement annuity income, some of your taxable pension, and retirement annuity income from your federal adjusted gross income. The subtraction applies only if you're over 65 or older, or totally disabled, or your spouse is totally disabled. Not all, only if one of those three things happen. You're disabled, your spouse is disabled, or you're over 64 years old, 65 and above. You included on your federal income return received as a pension, annuity, endowment from an employee retirement plan. Please note that these include qualified defined benefit and defined contribution pension plans, 401A, 401K, 403B, 457B, and we're going to assume TSP, thrift savings plan, as well. A traditional IRA, a SEP IRA, a KEO plan, or an eligible deferred comp does not qualify. So that's the pension exclusion. This has nothing to do with being a first responder or military. It just has to do if you are over 64 years old and you have a 401k, a 403b, a TSP, you can take $30,600 of your income and not have to declare it for taxes on your federal TurboTax. So here I am. All right. We got Jane Schmo up here, and I'm going to show you who Jane Schmo. She's over 64, she's 66 years old this year. All right, we're going to go to wages and income. And basically what we're saying is, if we can get there we go. All right, so remember, it's about $30,000 she doesn't have to pay tax on, $30,600. Hold on, here we go. Let's get with me here just a second. It's a big deal. And if TurboTax, and I've seen some other things, so let's just go back here. And I tried this every which way to Sunday, man, to try to get this to work. I've looked at all the things. I looked at Amazon, and then I recognized that Amazon, a couple guys were quoting, and I may or may not show you, but they said they haven't, it's not working right. So let's just say, we're going to even say $30,000. We'll just say $30,000 of gross distribution from an employer-sponsored retirement plan, all right, not an IRA. So we're not checking the box for a IRA, and we're saying it's a normal distribution, but we're not checking the box for IRA, all right. So we're not doing that. So we're essentially saying this is not an IRA. This is from some other kind of plan. All right. So now we're going to let's just do 30,000 there. Just make sure it's even Steven. And 30,000 there, and we're going to click OK and continue, and that number does not change. Well, it only changed a little bit because I just dropped it from 35,000 to 30,000. That's it. But it doesn't. But none of that should be taxable. None of this should be taxable in Maryland's income. And watch. None of it should be because it comes from a 401k as opposed to an IRA. So I see in here, are your simple IRA box checked? Nope. They're not. No, the box is blank. No, this money did not come from an employment as a public safety officer because it does for this pension exclusion. It doesn't have to. Maryland distribution amount is $30,000. We had nothing withheld because again, it's not included in Maryland taxable income. It is from a qualified plan, 401k. All these things right here: profit sharing, pension, SEP and simple, 457, 401k. It is from a qualified plan, which I hit that. All right. And I did something else with it. I did not roll it over. I just cashed it out. I took a one-time distribution. This is not a qualified disaster distribution. Nope. And here I'm just, it's not a qualified. We're not doing it for purchase of a home in a disaster area. So it's not a qualified purchase for that. I did not get regular payments from this retirement account. I took it as a lump sum distribution and there nothing happened. So now I go to my state taxes. All right. And what happens here? This actually ticks me off. This is a big deal, man. This is a big deal for how much more income you pay. All right, so here's my Maryland resident state taxes reviewed. I'm hitting edit, and I want to show you I was a full year resident, so we're just going to say full year resident. I lived in Montgomery County. We're saying Tacoma Park. I actually try to put Silver Spring, but Silver Spring is not in there. I don't know why that is, but whatever. It is part of Montgomery County, unless Silver Spring has become part of PG County. I don't think so. Anyway, the Maryland pension exclusion. I want to revisit it, and it gives me nothing. It doesn't allow me to revisit that. And I'm like, what's going on here? I can't do anything with a Maryland pension. Now, they have pension payments to beneficiary law enforcement worker. They got all that stuff, but I cannot revisit my Maryland pension exclusion. So I say, okay. And I guess won't let me do that. So we're going to come up here. We're going to hit Maryland pension exclusion. Hold on just a second. There we go. Exclusion. All right. And watch what it tells us to do. Where do I enter the Maryland pension exclusion amounts? All right. So it says, while you're in your return, which I am, click state, which we're here. Type in 502 SU in the top search button at the top right, which is this right here. Click jump to. All right. And so we're going to hit 502 SU. 502 SU. We're going to click on that and watch what happens. It doesn't say jump to. I click on that and that's all I got. Where's distribution being deducted from it doesn't right here, and that's for retirement law, but it's not just retirement law enforcement. So anyway, you read through this more and it says it's automatically taken out from you as long as the IRA box isn't checked, but it's not automatically taken out from us. And the reason we know this is because that's it right there. We have $1,821 of income, and that's not supposed to be because it's part of the Pension Exclusion Act because I'm over the age of 60. I'm over the age of 64 in this case, and it's coming from a qualified plan, a 401k, a TSP, things like that. So let me just go back. I'm going to show you something else. Watch this. All right. So now right here, we click on this guy right where I enter the Maryland. We click on this guy right here, and this will take us to this. And it says Hometown Heroes Act. It's not the Hometown Heroes Act that we're talking about. It's the Maryland Pension Exclusion, which is if you're over the age of 64 and you have an income from an employer-sponsored plan, it's exempt up to $30,600 for an income. But it doesn't do any of this. It doesn't. It's nuts. And so then I said, okay, where did I go? I went to Google. I went to Maryland. What's this? Maryland Pension exclusion, and I'm just going to type in Amazon because you'll see a guy had reviewed right here. This is not, however, the way Maryland. It's going to say in Amazon that Maryland does not critical oversight. TurboTax does not calculate Maryland's pension exclusion. For those who are 100% disabled, but under the age of 65, it's even worse than that. And then he updates, there's another guy does another review for 2007 that they don't do it either even if it's not 100% disabled. It's just what I was talking about, someone who's over 64 years old. So there's a couple of reviews on here. Yeah, -1 star at least, as where you don't get the exclusion from Maryland pension. You just don't. And that's and because that's problematic. I'm just telling you, it's a bad deal. If you can't get the exclusion from Maryland tax exemptions there, and that means you're going to end up paying, in this case, $1,800 more than you'd have to, for sure. And that's $1,800 that should be in your pocket. That's $150 a month, my friends. That's real money. So as we sit here today, I cannot recommend TurboTax from Maryland. It's just I can't until they get that situated. And every single thing I've seen, I can't figure out how to do it. There is no 502 SU that I can jump to, as they told us here. And then I've seen a couple guys. There's 3 or 4 guys on Amazon who said the same thing. So if you find a way around this, let me know. I'd love to learn. But as we sit here today, I can't recommend using TurboTax. I would recommend going to find somebody who understands the Maryland pension exclusions, a CPA or an enrolled agent, simply because that you can't be rolling your IRA, your 401k or TSP over to an IRA if you're going to reside in Maryland. You're just going to pay more taxes. And that's your money, my friends. You should not pay that. You should keep it, especially when you're going to have Medicare Part B, Medicare Part D, and supplemental or Medigap as well. That $150 right there is your Medigap policy. Don't lose it to some other clown who doesn't know what he's doing when it comes to Maryland taxes. Hope this helps. We'll see you next time. Thanks now.